Hi, welcome back to St Blazey Model World. I'm in the middle of completing the next Code 3 project, which is going to form the basis for my next video. But whilst that's progressing along, I thought I'd just show you a little bit of Baseboard 2 for my model village. I call it a model village rather than a model railway. I don't really regard myself as an expert model railway maker. But this is all in N-gauge, the track that you can see. And the concept for the whole thing is part to Newquay, the branch line, everything that you would see along it. And so this is Baseboard 2, which is nearing completion, but not quite. And it's sitting in my workshop here in my porter cabin. So whilst we wait for my next Code 3 project to come along, I thought we'd just have a quick look at this. The section that we're looking at, Baseboard 2, is Nance Gardens, just outside of Newquay. And if you're familiar with that area, I hope you can see some elements that represent the real thing. It does, of course, employ a degree of artistic license because of the space, but there we are. That's what it is, and that's where we're at. I've got a number of things to work on and a number of things I'm not entirely happy with. The back scene probably will be changed at some point. If you watch a lot of YouTube videos about making model railways, I hope you've found time to visit Chadwick and seen the trials and tribulations of back scenes there. They can be very testing to get right and to be happy with. So this one probably will not be the final version. So this represents Baseboard 2, possibly 2 of 6 or 7. I haven't quite decided yet. And it's a tail chaser with an end-to-end element. And the end-to-end element is the branch line itself, part to Newquay. And the tail chasing part is, of course, the main line that runs through from Parr to Penzance. So here we are. At Nance Gardens, hopefully near enough. There's the viaduct. The scenery, I've employed exactly the same techniques for the scenery on this as I did for the video Brian Grows Up, which is my redevelopment of my small test track, which I'll put a link for it on the screen. But there we are. That's the Nance viaduct. It's a hell of a drop from the top of that viaduct down to the baseboard ground level, as it were, but I have run trains on it and it does actually work. It's probably not strictly accurate in terms of scale and model making, but this really is something built for my amusement rather than to impress anybody. So tough, basically. So in the middle of Nance Gardens there is a stream. I haven't finished yet, but there's the water effect that I've gone for, with the flower beds still being developed. I'm kind of thinking that I'm going to leave this area without any flowers on it, just to represent an unplanted area, and maybe end up with some a gang of workmen planting their way along that part there. I haven't decided yet. Like a lot of these things, it possibly never will be really finished, but there we are. So as we move along the stream, those of you familiar with the area will know about the white cottage in the middle of Nance Gardens. It's been many things over the years. It was a museum. I think at the moment it's a cafe, but that's going to sit, or it does sit there on my model. As I say, it's not perfectly proportioned. It's a question of what I can fit into the space that I've got to work with. So some elements are condensed, but it is what it is. At the end of the stream, there's a small boating lake, and my boating lake is significantly smaller, but there it is with some rowing boats. And then as we move forward, there's the the fence. It doesn't actually have a white fence, but I've added one really for artistic license and my personal preference. And then this area here represents the main line, the double track main line between, ignore that bit of red there wasn't a nasty accident there. I must confess I spilt some red paint. That'll have to be addressed. But this represents the double track main line from Penzance right the way through to Par Station, and that's going to be the tail chasing element of this railway, or this model village really. I call it a model village. Right, so this is the hillside, and I haven't really finished this yet or decided exactly how it's going to look, but there it is at the moment. Just to give you an idea of where we are, we've got Newquay Station away to our left, and to the right we're heading towards Quintrell Downs. I won't fit all of the branch line stops on this model village, of course. We'll just go for a few, and I haven't fully decided yet where it's going to run to from here, but I want to incorporate certain elements, and of course one of the main elements that I really have to incorporate is the some representation of the clay mining. That possibly will just be in the shape of hills of the waste product from clay mining. I've yet to decide. So there's the viaduct and some bit more of the hillside there, and I can assure you that in the daylight it looks possibly a lot better than it does on camera at the moment, but there we are. And if you want to know how this hillside was put together, then if you watch the video that I did called Brian Grows Up, and I'll put a link for it on the screen, you'll see how it was done, because I use the same techniques for Brian Grows Up. And just to give you an idea, that's the run around at the back of the scenic area. All of these things I'm still sort of fiddling with them. I haven't really decided anything yet too much. So there we are. That's just a quick shot of baseboard number 2. For those of you interested in the technical things, it's going to be, it is in N gauge, and it will only be a DC layout. There are only actually going to be about 4 trains on here. I've referred to this as a miniature model village, and that's what it is. I'm more interested really in things like the lighting up of the buildings, and my version of Nance Gardens will have working lamps all the way along it and that type of thing. So it's really just a model village rather than a model railway. But nonetheless, there it is. That's Baseboard 2. We'll come back to this from time to time and see how it develops.